It's Connacht's Craggy Rugby podcast. It's the Munster match. We're in Murphy Rabbits. Just before we get on the bus, I've got Danny Deegan with me. Hiya, Danny.
How are things?
All good, all good. I packed everything in my bag. I knew I was making sure I had everything. And what did I forget? I forgot my recorder, so hopefully the sound on this isn't too bad. We just have to wait and see. But what are you expecting, Dan, tonight? Are you expecting a win for Connacht? Because the bookies have Munster as strong favourites.
As a fan, yeah, it's a perfect opportunity to turn them over down there, get a double on them. I'm going to steal your stat that Connacht have never beaten Munster 3 times in a row, so it's a great opportunity to put that one to bed. But to me, I'm looking at their team. There's not too many that I would be like, oh, we need them in our team, or we've no one to match that. So I feel like this is a really good opportunity for Connacht to just grab it both hands and get a win down there.
It certainly is. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on the bus any minute now. It looks as though it's almost ready to arrive. Okay, we've made it onto the bus. We've left within 10 minutes of the standard even time. I think we only have one person behind by the sounds of it. So, nice buzz on the bus, Dan.
Yeah, it's pretty good going. There's no messing around with the clan. It's like when they say they're leaving, they're going to go. But they did do a really good clear of Murphy, so they made sure that it was somebody not missing. But I digress. But yeah, look, it's a really good bus, really good buzz on this. Like good anticipation, as you'd expect for an Interpro, especially one that means so much to both teams today. And there's definitely like a sense of a belief. There's a really good kind of vibe, and yeah, I'm feeling good about Connacht tonight. You're not so much.
Yeah, I'm just getting my normal nerves at this stage. I put my money on them at 4-1 and covered the bet on +9. So, and I've seen the odds go down from Munster were 10 points favourites down to 7 point favourites. They might be even drifting down a bit further, but still just have my worries. We've only ever beaten them once down there in the URC, so yeah, we have to wait and see. Okay, next time we'll talk to us, we'll be in Thomond Park, unless the sing-song breaks out on the bus on the way down. Okay, we've made it to Thomond Park, and I've got the president of the clan, Sean, wants to have a few words with us and talk to us about what an excellent start to the night.
Yeah, first of all, we've got a great crowd here, which is lovely to see. Bit of a late push, we have a full bus. Thanks to no small bit to Mr. Mulwine beside me, but yeah, good to see a crowd, and hopefully a good performance with it.
Well, with a bit of luck, and I also have Shane, the previous president of the Connacht Clan, but you're the main man for the bus, and I believe we had to increase the size of the bus during the week.
Yeah, it was all good. We were a little worried there for a while, but people just kind of, as the usual typical thing, left at the last second, and the bus company were sound, so we upped it and we got a practically full bus down, so it's great to see. Got us down in one piece, and we're here on time for the match.
We certainly are. And John, do you think that it's partly to do with the fact that people have now fully got over COVID and they're now starting to go back to doing things that they used to do?
Yeah, I think they just miss, especially with Connacht, they just miss the camaraderie, because as we are more of a large club team, if you put it that way. Yeah, it's more of the village or the community in Connacht that people just miss the crack. Even during the week, I get the odd text of this person beside me with, I think, Newcastle with a question mark after it, or Parma, and without hesitation, you jump on, you look forward to the next trip. So a lot of that is just, thankfully or hopefully, COVID is gone, and it's just back to good crowds travelling to home and away games.
It is, and like the clan being able to organise these things, it sort of takes pressure off people having to worry about the organisation, because you guys have been travelling for so long at this stage.
Yeah, we have. I mean, you know every trick in the book.
Yeah.
And what the idea this year is maybe promoted more that those that haven't made their first trip, just check out connachtclan.com or check out our social media. Not be afraid to ask a question, because I've yet to hear someone say, I went to my first Connacht trip away, I'm never going again. Yeah. It's a habit, it's a very enjoyable trip away, and the fact that we're so close to players, staff and management and yourselves, very enjoyable. So hopefully the base can, our numbers can improve and increase every trip away. So it's the plan.
yeah, and you got to, like Shane, you'd be a man for organising a lot of these trips, because sometimes they can be quite complicated.
Yeah, that's planes, trains and automobiles for us, but we always end up getting there, and that's the cool thing about the forum. If people don't use it, is that that's what we generally do. We plan all the away trips. So I like what Sean said there about like me texting him during the week, Newcastle, and then he goes, how are you going? And I'll text him, and then he goes, 10 minutes later, booked. But that's the way we are. We're like that. Like as I said, you know about Brive now, and we're actually on the same outbound way we are. We're going via Paris and a train down, so we'll have a nice little crew on that train down, random like, but it's cool. That's the way we roll.
That is, and it's a nice way to just get, have a bit of fun when you're abroad, and you suddenly see guys with their Connacht gear on and the thing, and you, like when you're away, it's just nice to have that, there's someone I know, and you can run into all sorts of people.
It's very important. Even we went to a few of us went to Swansea, and I met up with Corey Bourne of the Connacht branch, and he was over like a shot, and again, he's there, how do we get to know more about Connacht Clan? So hopefully we're going to work a bit more with them during the year. But again, it's nice to see a green jersey or a green top somewhere, and then slowly but slowly our numbers are increasing. And people got to realise that these trips away are, if you plan them well in advance, they're not expensive. They can be done on a budget or a shooting budget. So hopefully people just check out a bit more, but definitely check the forum, check social media, keep an eye, listen to, if you can, the Craggy Crew podcast. That's worth its weight in gold. So just keep an eye on everything and start travelling.
Absolutely. And back to tonight, are we expecting something good tonight? Who worries you most on their team? Who would you be most wary of?
I'm not sure if I'm mostly aware of any individual person. It's kind of more of a collective. Like, so traditionally their pack has always been strong. Maybe Carberry might decide to show a good match tonight. I don't know, but for now, I'd probably put my foot in it, but I'm not too worried about them. I think it's going to be a good match because most of the internationals are released and back into it. Like what I said, it's possibly the influence O'Mahony might have in the game is where I'd be kind of a little concerned with. Like as I said, he's a big time international and he's able to control the game, shall we say? But as I said, I think Bundy will hopefully have a flyer tonight. You've seen it the last day. He came on and the energy he had and everything for Ireland. So hopefully, as I said, we get Bundy leading us. Maybe he might score a cheeky try in the corner again.
Yeah, it would be nice. And Sean, I know you like to have a little bet every now and again, and the odds have come down on Connacht since the teams were picked.
Big time. I took them 4-1 yesterday morning. I think it was Munster -10 and now -6. Yeah. So there's obviously money going on somewhere. I don't know, maybe your cause of that, but somebody's low. Maybe Danny's. I don't know, but somebody's low. But no, they're coming down. But even Shane was saying, I'm not too worried. And even tonight, normally they go down and Bundy is the main instigator.
Yeah.
Josh Murphy is there too.
Yeah.
They've got to worry about two guys in their face.
Yeah.
Their scrum was always good. But look at the way Finlay has done it in the internationals. I mean, he's taken apart a lot of front rows on his own. So all of a sudden, like our guys won't fear Munster one iota.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted the Carberry's there.
Yeah.
If it was Crowley, it'd be more worried, but no. I'm not too worried about it. It's different when it starts, but Ireland has a clearance.
Yeah, I think so. And that weather, that horrible weather, that just as we got off the bus, the rain was absolutely belting down, but it stopped out by the time we got to the ground, so hopefully it stays away for the rest of the night, but you just never know. Thanks, guys. Okay, Danny, about 15 minutes from kick-off. We're out on the East Terrace now. There's a fair breeze blowing down diagonally across the pitch, but the pitch is looking in good nick, and it's not raining at the moment anyway.
No, we're getting away with the rain, but this wind is definitely going to affect the match. For me, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be another fine margin, but I think Connacht will come away with the win ever so slightly.
Casey, he's certainly drawn the cover. Wooden, he's beaten because the ball has gone out to Nash, and Nash has scored in the corner.
Okay, just coming up to 19 minutes as a break in play. Danny, Connacht are losing 3 points to 5. They've had they've been dominating most of the game, but they let Munster in for the simplest of tries.
Yeah, it's the classic thing of we score. We didn't handle the kickoff well, and Munster took their opportunity. Very, very frustrating considering Connacht have been dominating in Munster's half, and most of the territory, most of the possession. as you would expect with this win that they're playing with. They really need to start taking chances.
Chip over the top from Blade. The chase from Farrell. Chasing back is Daly. Daly scoops the ball inside to Haley. Prendergast is coming for it. Intercept from Ralston. He's in underneath the post. Munster made a hames of that. Haley was trying to find Carberry. Byron Ralston, well, he was all over it. This could be the try that'll level it up with a conversion to come, but they're still being stopped. One more push might do it. Connacht are trying to stop them. Munster scored a try.
Okay, guys, 10 on at half time. What are the thoughts?
You'll take it because we've been really poor. They've been feasting off our little mistakes. Because in years gone by, we would have conceded there, but we'll definitely take that the way we played in that first half.
Sean, are you worried that we were playing with the win there and we're only drawing it? That looks like a 7 to 10 point win to me.
Yeah, but I think everything they did came from our mistakes. We were poor. Prendergast is all that's hitting everything the move. Bundy is doing his best, but tighten up. I think Wooten has been caught out a couple of times, maybe lack of match practice, but I don't think they're going to improve much more either. If we can cut our mistakes out, we have a chance. It's just get our line out sorted again. Our scrum is good, but our line out to the zone, so tighten a few things and just start running over, lads.
Just gone 60 minutes and Munster takes a 7-point lead. Looking tough for Connacht out there.
Yeah, very tough. Quite a harsh call from the ref. Munster player jumps into a tackle, which is illegal. Full stop. It's a dangerous play. And Munster capitalised. But it's Connacht's mistakes that are letting Munster into this game. They need to cut out the errors and start winning the kicking battles. Munster are doing very well in the kicking battle. You've got to give them that.
Yeah, and another mistake there from Connacht, crooked in the line out. It just hasn't been a good night for some players tonight. But can't see us winning a match from here somehow.
Munster peel off that line out and they are driving. They got them all. How can Connacht stop this? It's impossible. Munster over the line. Try for Munster. Bonus point for Munster. Ball coming out from Marmion. They're going to go to the back line soon enough, I think. No, they're sticking with the fourth. Paul Boyle might have the space. Oh, he couldn't find the offload. Now Marmion goes for the line and Kieran Marmion scores and Connacht have a lifeline. 7 minutes to go. 24 for Munster, 15 for Connacht. Conversion critical to get Connacht within 7 points, losing bonus point territory.
Okay, Danny, we're heading out because we have to catch this bus. We couldn't hang around in the ground. That's a pretty disappointing end to the match from Connacht, losing 24 points to 17.
I'm just frustrated. It's so frustrating. But when I'm looking at the stats that I was taking, the 22 entries, Connacht didn't do enough in the second half.
Yep.
Munster turned it up and kept going. Now I think they fed off they did feed off the mistakes, but they fed off that penalty where the player jumps into the tackle, which is illegal. I've put into the Discord. World Rugby confirmed that this year, early this year. They confirmed it because something happened down south in a match. That is illegal. He doesn't need to jump at it. It's different if it's a kick. I'm happy to argue that with anybody. But they fed off that. They took a massive boost and then they come back down 5 minutes later and score another try. That's it. That's their bonus point. That's the winning of the game. You flip it, Connacht get a penalty, we get that boost. We go down the other side of the pitch. The other thing is, I do think Marm's made a massive difference. The bench, all the bench really did make a good impact. Yeah. We looked like we had a lot more bite. So it's difficult and frustrating. It's just
And this was a big opportunity, and I suppose it slipped away. Really.
Well, we let it slip away, Rob. That was a frustrating thing. I thought, we had patches of the game there. I thought we were in real control, but then we just made either poor decisions or poor discipline or inaccurate with our execution, and we again relieved pressure. And you give a side like Munster opportunity here at Thomond and the crowd starts to rally, you're going to lose a game.
Yeah, we could point to a reverse penalty that had us completely baffled. I've no doubt that you were as well, but you had opportunities after that to take control of it again. Yeah,
we did. That was a frustrating one. I thought I will review that in terms of the decisions that referee made, but you can't blame the referee. We gave too many opportunities for him to make decisions, we were our own worst enemy. We've got to cut that out of our game.
I want to talk more about Connacht's performance, but just on the Hodnett's penalty, I mean, do you want to see that looked at in the game? It seems that's not really in the spirit of a dangerous tackle. The player jumps into Jack Hardy. I know technically it probably was the right call, but how do you feel about it?
No, I thought live he jumped into the tackle. So
that's not even technically right call.
That's right. Yeah. So you can't do that. Like, I just thought there was a lot of inconsistency there tonight.
Okay. It was a key moment. Prendergast gets a huge turnover. It's 10-all. Sinbin's about to end. Could be a different game.
Yeah. Again, there was some key moments there that probably didn't go our way, but that's not the reason we lost the game either.
It's a general comment, and feel free to push back, but the backline just does not seem to be firing for Connacht at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't as yet, have we? Again, we had other opportunities there tonight where I thought we were on, and for various reasons we didn't execute. So it is frustrating, that one. I feel like we're working hard, but we're just not getting the reward for what we're trying to do.
How do you want to refocus for this Benetton game? What's your mindset going into now?
Well, they've had a massive win today, a bonus point win against a good Edinburgh side, and they went down to 14 men. So, that was a brave Benetton performance. So they'll come over there, or come over to us next week. I'm pretty buoyed by that. I'd imagine they're a quality side. They're virtually an Italian side. So we need to regroup after that. So there is a lot of frustration in that change room, but that's our doing. No one else is doing. That's our doing. So we've got to come in on Monday, be very honest about the areas where we let ourselves down, and then rezone our focus as to how we can tidy those up ahead of Benetton.
It's always difficult after these games, but maybe just talk us through like the disappointment in that dressing room.
Yeah, pretty fresh at the moment. We've had a pretty honest conversation inside. We talked about the access that we kind of gave them in the first half and the ins we get them into the game. We frustrated with ourselves because we said we kind of nearly gifted them 2 tries with silly mistakes in our 22. And when you come to Thomond Park, you can't really be doing that.
It was a killer because if you look at the bad call against Connacht, and obviously we felt that from the commentary boot in terms of the reverse penalty, you did brilliant in defence, you turned it over, but then turned it back over again.
That's the thing, like we dig in so deep, big moments like that, and then shoot ourselves in the foot. We had a pretty, like I said, an honest conversation aside, and we said we'll have a sit down on Monday and really go through it, and we'll have to be hard on ourselves because it's the only way we can really learn.
It's a massive opportunity tonight, and it's going to kind of stick in the grow a bit because obviously you come into the game with a real chance. You're ahead of Munster in the standings, and they've found a way to win it.
Yeah, they did. That was it really. Both teams are desperate for the win. Both teams needed the win, and to be fair to them, they found a way. They found a way to do it, and that's what they do here. So we'll have to sit down and look at it.
The penalties are really some of them you can argue with, but a whole lot of what we were looking at there are like not rolling away, off your feet. These kind of key calls, like that kind of discipline has been costing Connacht all season.
Yeah, it has. We call them red penalties in our language. We actually have, what we had in the past, got a red penalty, I suppose, chart to show where the trends are coming from, and it's not really one in particular. It's kind of, they're all different kind of ones. So if we can reduce that number, I think we have a threshold we have to meet, and if we can reduce that number, we give ourselves every chance in games like this.
For the moment now, you got to get back to the drawing board a bit, possibly away from the kind of the eyes of the rest of the league. You just got to get the job done next week and get back on track. We do, yeah.
Every game is massive now, but we've kind of put ourselves in this position with a slow start, and next week will be tough again with Benetton. They had a good win today, I think, and they'll be rolling high with the Italian national team going well as well, so they'll have players who are pretty high run of confidence. So we know next week won't be easy at all.
Okay, that was the voice of Andy Friend and Tom Farrell. Now let's hear what William and Rob had to say as they finished off their broadcast on Galway Bay FM after the match.
A losing bonus point for Connacht, something to cling to on a bad night.
Strange game. I think Connacht will be frustrated, but they didn't play well enough. They gave away too many penalties. They didn't really make an awful lot of opportunities. There is a question mark over that reverse penalty. I have no issue with the penalty for the tackle in the air. He just applied the laws of the game. I don't know, Connacht again, inconsistent. Some players played very, very well. The pack is really competent in what it's doing. It does look, I think Munster's driving maul is the best in the world. I really do. I think whatever way they do, whatever way they have, they seem almost unstoppable from that, and I think
they counted for 3 tries tonight.
Yeah, and I think they can do that to anybody, with the exception maybe of Leinster, because they don't get enough field position against them. I think the bottom line for Connacht is now they've got to win all their home games, and that includes Ulster, and they've got to start putting together some away wins. There are games that are targetable. I don't like using that word, but there are games that if they play well, they can win. But there's a consistency issue. That's probably Connacht's strongest team on the field tonight, with the exception of Mac Hansen. And they've come up short because they've been beaten by a Munster team who were better in the game, are still a long way off from what they want. In the conditions, they played them a bit better, they were a bit quicker, they were a bit smarter.
But that's disappointing, William, because this isn't Munster's strongest team. This is arguably the weakest Munster team of the last decade because of where they are in the table. We can say that. And this is a Connacht pack that, you know, you got your Keane Brendergast coming back from Ireland, you got your Jared Butler, you got your Conor Oliver that people feel is the first choice 7 for Connacht, you got Josh Murphy in that second row with Gavin Thornbury, you got the bench of Moran coming on and Oisin Dowling, and you're starting to ask and we've talked about the front row. So, like, at the end of the day, I know no Mac Hansen tonight, there's some sort of spark missing for Connacht, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. It doesn't happen quickly enough when they get the ball. The forwards are presenting them with fairly good balls. Sometimes it's a bit slow, even though it's clean ball. It doesn't happen as quickly enough for them. But the backs, when they get it, seem a bit pedestrian and a bit short of ideas. You wonder if you have somebody like a Hansen on who pops up everywhere, creates a bit of chaos in defences because he's here and there and everywhere, and that's something that is missed by the players who were on tonight. Byron Ralston did okay till he went off with which looks a nasty enough injury. We hope it's just a bad bang, but I don't know. I thought if I was asked to call this game beforehand, I would have said, look, probably Munster will win it, because they generally do. They're a hard side to beat at home. But I think Connacht will feel that Munster won it because Connacht just weren't good enough.
There's no arguing with that, and there's a lot of people now that are going to be like, well, how are Connacht going to shape up against Benetton? Hopefully Mac Hansen's knock clears up. Aki looked sharp in the first half, but he faded out of it then. And you start wondering about the Tom Daly's of this world and who is going to nail down those centre positions. I'm not so sure Tom Farrell was poor, but I'm not so sure he got everything right either. There was a couple of moments
and David Hawkshaw was playing really, really well.
Yes, and he was out, yeah.
And now he's disappeared out. I agree with you about Bundy Aki. I thought he was very good for about 50 minutes. But then when you haven't been playing rugby, you've only played 15 minutes in 8 or 9 weeks. I don't care how much training you've done. But I think we've come to the conclusion that if you don't start them, you don't play them.
Connacht really, really want to prove themselves as a playoff side. They saw a chance tonight to double up on Munster for the season. Losing away to Munster in Thomond Park does not define a season for any team. But when Munster are the way they are, they were on the floor, they're off the floor now, they're off their knees. They got 5 points tonight in terms of the bonus point win, and Connacht are on the back foot now.
Yes, they are, because they've backed themselves into the worst possible case scenario. There's 10 games left. They're 3-5. Realistically, they have to win, in my view, 8 of those 10 games. That's what you're looking at now. You need to get to around 11 wins. It might be slightly different this season in terms of if Leinster run away with it and a couple of the South African teams keep going along, the bottom positions could become in the top 8 around 10 wins.
Which is doable, but you can't come away from tonight thinking about 10 wins. You have to wonder to yourself, how are they going to play against Benetton? That's all they're thinking about. 3:15 next Saturday
afternoon. That now becomes an even more key game because it's at home and it's on an artificial surface, and Benetton beat Edinburgh today at home and had a man sent off, and are a very good side at home but aren't so good away from home. And then we're into Europe. And then we've got Ulster coming. They've got to beat Ulster. They've got to win that home game. Leinster away is... Look, Leinster are 8-0 and are just in cruise control. So I don't know how you call that game. Then you have the two South African teams coming in the middle to start with. And then you've got 2 games in Europe. And so you've got the Sharks and the Lions. They're coming in January. Should be set up for Connacht at home. Artificial pitch, difficult conditions. But where are they then? Because, you know, they have to go to Zebre. They have to go to the Dragons. They've got to win both of those games. I can't see you doing anything less than that. Then they have Cardiff and Edinburgh. Sorry, I'm just running through fixtures. But you can see the work that's needed now. There is no space. There's no wriggle room. And another defeat means you're starting to run down. You've got to win every game. And they're not playing well enough for you to think that they can do that. That's the simple facts of it. The start was disappointing. They were terrible against Ulster. They didn't win any games in South Africa, and tonight is kind of is a bit of a letdown, I suppose. Munster were 7 points favourites, which is what they've won by with their friends the bookmakers, and they you know.
And they jump ahead of Connacht now. They get 5 points, they go to 17. Not only do they jump ahead of Connacht, they jump from 14th to 7th. There's lots of games in hand for different teams around them, but still.
There is. The only issue that they have, and I'm said it again.
They have to go to South Africa.
Anybody who's been listening tonight is going to say, God, he's going to say that again. But I think South Africa is a huge, huge challenge to every team. Right. I don't care who you are.
So you're saying there's hope there that can kind of catch them, but what we saw tonight is Munster have proven they're the better team at the moment.
Yes, they are. They've kicked on. Connacht have stalled. They're not a team, Connacht, that are pretty good after breaks. We know that looking at the stats. Next weekend, it looks a simple game on a Saturday afternoon. Well, I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of pressure in that, because if that goes the wrong way, then they're in a massive, massive hole, and it's going to look nearly, I would say, impossible to get out of it in terms of qualification. You don't know with other results, but they need to be more clinical, they need to be sharper. And as you say, the forwards are providing a bit of a platform. I still think the ball is too slow from the forwards, but when it gets into the backs, it's very pedestrian looking, and it's not sharp, it's not asking enough questions. Munster tonight weren't asked really hard questions by the backs, they were asked hard questions by the Connacht forwards. And that's a great position to be in, and you can say they're doing a great job. But, you know, you don't win. You used to win games if your forwards got on top. I don't think Connacht's forwards got on top tonight, but they were at least 50-50. Nowadays, it doesn't really work like that. Your backs have got to be really sharp.
Okay, Danny, we've made it back. It was a pretty quiet bus. I thought we might be able to get more audio on the bus, but it was a pretty quiet bus because a lot of people fed up and annoyed, but then realised that we didn't do well enough to win.
No, we didn't. To be honest, a friend summed it up. Like he didn't pull punches. He just called it as it is, and we gave away too many stupid penalties. Didn't punish them when they made mistakes. They punished us. It's as simple as that. You know, it's very frustrating.
Yeah. So we're in the green room. As you can hear, it's pretty subdued in here. But hopefully next week get back into the sports ground with our new flashing lights and everything. We saw what sort of light display it's possible with Thomond Park today. One thing I did notice that they're quite bright. Like it was actually almost sore on the eyes how bright the lights were. At least we got a losing bonus point. That's something, I suppose. Anything. I'll take anything from tonight. Okay, that's it, folks. We'll talk to you again during the week. Remember, this is our free podcast. We do a couple of podcasts during the week. We'll have midweek podcast where we go back and look at the game and then look forward to it and have press conference in it, audio that we get. And then, of course, next Friday we will have the coaches' thoughts after they've picked the team, because we're the only place you can get that. But you need, in order to get that and listen to it, folks, you have to go to patreon.com/Craggy Rugby and become a Craggy patron. And we'll try and keep bringing you as much audio as we can throughout the season, throughout the rest of the season. Bye, folks.
Loose, cut it loose. Break out or nothing changes. Side